This Meerkat family has its den inside of the campsite. Incredibly special to watch them interact with each other.
In this video, I'll be sharing our experiences exploring South Africa's Kalahari Transfrontier Park.
There's a nice sighting of 4 cheetah here, a mother and 3 cubs.
This is the final episode of a 3-part Kalahari series, and it's definitely the one with the best sightings.
We've had so much luck these last few days with the leopards. The Kalahari just keeps on delivering.
During the course of these 4 days, we enjoyed some of the best game viewing my dad and I have ever experienced.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're here at Mata Rest Camp in the Kgalagadi Transfrontier Park, and it is absolutely cooking. It's at least 40 degrees today, and we've just arrived and we've found a little bit of shade here at the campsite, and we're about to set up the tent. But guys, for the next 4 days, we'll be filming as much wildlife as possible. Hope you guys enjoy the video. So we're about to head out on an afternoon game drive now. Unlike the other camps, like Nossob, where you can go north and south from the camp, here at Mata you can only head one direction, and that's south. We're going to head out on a drive now, our first proper drive from the camp. And we're going to head to a waterhole where apparently they saw lions earlier. Hopefully we get to see them.
Not long after leaving Mata, we came across this male and female ostrich with their 9 chicks. The male with his darker plumage was easy to distinguish from the female with her more faded coloring. We spent a few minutes counting the chicks and watching them closely. It was fascinating to see how they did their best to stay in their mother's shadow as the family made its way across the river valley.
We decided to head straight to the 14th borehole this afternoon, and here are 3 big male lions lying down in the shade next to the road. Really nice visual of them. One is looking a little bit restless, and we're quite close to the water, so maybe he'll get up and go for a drink, but the other 2 are completely passed out. But it is really, really warm. It's 5:30 now, so we've got about an hour to sit here and wait with them before we need to head back to the camp. Hopefully in that time there's some action. But knowing how lazy lions are, I'm not expecting too much.
Eventually one of the lions got to its feet and made its way down to the waterhole to quench its thirst after spending the afternoon sleeping through the intense Kalahari heat. We thought the other 2 males would soon follow, but that wasn't the case. After taking a short drink, the lion returned to the shade and settled back down for another afternoon nap. There was plenty of game in the riverbed, feeding on the fresh grass that had sprung up following the recent rainfall. In fact, this section of the Alb riverbed held more animals than any other area that we had encountered throughout the trip. We headed back to the camp after a pleasant first afternoon, excited for the next 4 nights at Mata. If the previous 9 days were anything to go by, there was still plenty to see here in the Kalahari.
So we just got back from our game drive now, and this Meerkat family has its den inside of the campsite. Incredibly special to watch them interact with each other and to be able to get this close and at eye level. Here you can see them behind me. It's very special.
These meerkats were fascinating to watch as they interacted with one another. As highly social animals, they spent plenty of time grooming each other while the youngsters were full of energy and consistently playing around the group. As the light began to fade, the family gradually made their way back towards their burrows for the night. To think that they were simply sharing the campsite with the rest of us made the experience feel even more special.
We're here at the reception at Mata Mata waiting for 5:30 when we can collect our permits for the drive. It's just gone 4:45 now, so we're the first people here waiting, which means we'll be the first people to get our permits and head out of the gates this morning. And we're going to go straight to the 13th borehole where we saw those 3 male lions yesterday afternoon. Hopefully they're still there, but I doubt it. It was really warm during the day yesterday, which meant as soon as things cooled down, they were going to get up and move around.
The morning was off to a quick start with this male lion standing on top of a dune, looking down towards us. It wasn't long before the excitement continued and we came across more lions, which we were fairly sure were the same individuals which we saw the previous afternoon. They crossed the riverbed and made their way towards a bathroom block that was under construction.
Yeah guys, so it's been a good morning so far. It's just gone 8 o'clock now, so we've been out for just over 2.5 hours and we've seen plenty lion. But now we're at the Kgalagadi waterhole and there's this male lion. He's just taking a break in the shade, probably going to be there for most of the day. Things are heating up really quickly, but we've had a good morning and we're going to carry on heading south to the Kgalagadi picnic site, maybe get out and stretch our legs.
We really couldn't believe our eyes. This is exactly the kind of sighting we had been hoping for at one of these waterholes. This female leopard drank for several minutes, pausing every so often to scan her surroundings for any potential threats. It was an incredible sight to witness. This particular leopard had graced us with her presence on a few occasions throughout the trip, making this encounter even more special. What was remarkable was that despite spending hours waiting at waterholes in the hope of seeing a leopard, we ended up finding one while we were parked on the roadside filming a Lana falcon. Very well spotted, Dad.
We're at the Rooibruck waterhole now and we've just reversed into some shade. My dad saw this leopard making its way down to the waterhole. Unbelievably well seen, and in my opinion One of the best sightings we've had of the trip, probably the best one. Very, very special. We haven't experienced something like that before. And we followed it along the riverbed for about 200-300 meters, and now it's just gone up onto the ridge and it's lying down in some shade. We can still see it, but an unbelievably special sighting. We were hoping to get something like that a few days ago when we were at Tuirafiran, because we heard that it was such a good area for leopard. But now coming down from Mata Mata, it's just unbelievable. We've had such a good morning with the lions and now this leopard. Really special. We were disappointed when we were staying at Tuirafiran and we missed the sighting at Montrose of the leopard having a drink. So this definitely makes up for it. But things are starting to warm up now. It's just gone 10:30 and we're thinking about going to a Kamkwa picnic site to have some breakfast. A really, really good morning. We're at Kamkwa picnic site now, and we've been here for 10 minutes. We've had some breakfast after getting here from that leopard sighting, which is about 5 k's down the road. But if you look around, there's no other cars, and we were chatting about it. If you get here morning, breakfast time, and there are no other cars, that's because they're at sightings. Just up the road, there's a male lion at the Kamkwa waterhole that we saw on our way south, and further along, more lions at the other waterholes. So leopards south and lions north. That's why no one's having breakfast this morning.
After breakfast, we immediately headed back to look for the leopard, and we were thrilled to find her on the move. She appeared to be in hunting mode, carefully scanning the concrete ridge for any potential prey. By now, the heat of the day had really started to set in, and it was incredible to watch an animal so perfectly adapted to the harsh Kalahari environment. Her golden coat seemed to reflect the intense sunlight as she continued her patrol across the landscape. Seeing a leopard actively hunting in the middle of the day is not something you witness very often. After all the excitement and having spent a good amount of time with the leopard, we decided to make our way back towards Mata Mata and enjoy the scenery along the way. The lions we had seen earlier had found themselves a rather comfortable spot for an afternoon nap. This is exactly why you need to close the bathroom doors behind you when you leave. We returned to the camp for a short break, taking the opportunity to rest at the campsite and catch our breath during the heat of the day. Before long, the temperatures began to ease, and we were back on the road, heading out for our afternoon game drive.
We're on our afternoon game drive at the moment, and we just pulled up to the Dalkeith waterhole, and it's been very quiet. It's still so warm at the moment, so we're hoping that things cool down as time goes on, and hopefully we can catch something on the way back to the camp. But all the other waterholes heading south were very quiet. There were sightings of cheetah this morning at Craig Lockhart. We obviously just drove past it and missed them, and also some female lions at the waterhole closest to Mata Mata Rest Camp. So hopefully we get to see something this afternoon. But in general, I know I mentioned it in the previous videos, the afternoons here in the Kalahari are really slow compared to the mornings. The mornings are when you get most of your sightings. Like this morning, we were really lucky with that leopard sighting. We've been speaking about it the whole time that we were resting at the camp during the heat of the day. It was really special, and when we least expected it. So often happens that way. So during our last 11 nights here in the Kalahari Transfrontier Park, we've only had one good sighting in the afternoons, and that was of a leopard on our third afternoon while we were staying at Tuafiran. But now, we're at the last waterhole closest to the camp, Spitzas, and there are 4 lions here in the road in front of us. There were a few cars, but they've all headed back to the camp now, and there's still about 20 minutes left. Beautiful sighting. You can see the sun on my skin. It's still really bright, still quite warm. Really nice way to end our first proper day here at Mata Mata.
The lions were in no hurry to do much at all. The group consisted of 3 females and a young male whose mane was still not fully developed. We enjoyed some fantastic views of them as they rested in the shade, completely relaxed and comfortable with our presence. Not everyone was quite as relaxed though. A distant springbuck kept a close eye on the pride. When we arrived back at camp, I made a quick stop to check on the meerkats before they disappeared into their burrows for the evening. It was a great way to end another memorable day in the Kalahari. Back at the campsite, we got the fire going for a braai, and we were treated to another special sighting. A rufous-cheeked nightjar. And the surprises didn't end there. Later that evening, a tiny African pygmy mouse paid us a visit around the campsite. As one of the smallest mouse species in the world, it was incredible to see such a tiny creature close up.
It was very cold when we woke up this morning, and also it smelled like rain, and when we looked outside of the tent it was overcast. Definitely the coldest morning we've had in the last 12 nights we've spent in the park. But we're here at the office waiting to get our permit. It's just gone 4:45, and yeah, we're hoping for another good morning like yesterday morning. We just saw so much. A lion and leopard, and then lion in the afternoon. There's just so many cats around yesterday. I don't know if it's just the way things are here at Mata Mata, or if yesterday was particularly lucky. And then that leopard. Wow, that leopard. We were saying when we were at Tuafiran how we were hoping to see a leopard come and drink at one of the water holes, especially because we spent so much time waiting around during our first few drives we went on. But yeah, couldn't believe it. When my dad said there's a leopard on its way while we were filming that Lana Falcon. No, we were excited. Very well spotted, Dad.
Just a few meters from the camp entrance gate, we came across these 2 young spotted eagle owl chicks, sitting right on the road. They were clearly siblings and seemed perfectly content as they waited for the day to begin, perhaps hoping for one of their parents to return with food. As the light slowly increased, a beautiful sunrise began to unfold. The colors were spectacular, with the sun breaking through the clouds. At Craig Lockhart Waterhole, we found a lioness and her 2 cubs, feeding on what appeared to be a young wildebeest. Nearby, a black-backed jackal lingered patiently, keeping a close eye on the scene and waiting for an opportunity to snatch a meal for itself. The lions fed for some time, allowing us some excellent views before we eventually decided to move on and let them enjoy their breakfast. This was our first and only honey badger sighting of the entire trip. These 2 individuals were involved in a confrontation with a pair of black-backed jackals. The jackals seemed to know their place and didn't give the badgers too much trouble. Honey badgers certainly don't have their fearless reputation for nothing, and there aren't many animals willing to challenge them. We followed them for a while before they eventually disappeared up and over a dune, bringing an end to a fantastic sighting.
So it's just gone 10 past 8 now, and we've been out for just over 2.5 hours, and we came back to Roy Bruck, where we saw the leopard yesterday morning, and now there are 3 lions lying here in the riverbed. It looks like they've already come down and had a drink at the waterhole, but they're eyeing out some giraffe further down the riverbed. So we're going to wait here for a while and see what happens. Maybe they get up and walk. Hopefully they don't go and lie underneath the tree. But like I said, we've been out for 2.5 hours and the sun still hasn't peeped out from behind these clouds. It's nice and cool this morning compared to yesterday.
After showing some interest in a distant herd of giraffe, the lions eventually decided that a hunt wasn't worth the effort. Instead, they slowly made their way across to the far side of the riverbed, where they settled down once again. By this stage, our time around Mata Mata was really delivering when it came to lion sightings.
So we decided to leave those lions. They moved off into some shade. Nothing much was going on there, and we headed south here towards Montrose, the waterhole, and we got a leopard walking on the other side of the riverbed. We think it's the same cat from yesterday. Luckily it's still nice and cool, so the animal's still active.
Our favorite thing about the Kalahari was its wide open landscape. Even when animals were some distance away, the visibility was often excellent, allowing us to enjoy prolonged sightings that would be impossible in many other parks. This leopard certainly put on a show for us. Just as we thought we'd be following her up the Alb River Valley, she suddenly changed direction and began walking straight towards us, giving us even better views than we could have hoped for. There is something truly special about a leopard. No matter how many times you see one, every encounter feels memorable, and this sighting was no exception.
We've had so much luck these last few days with the leopards. The Kalahari just keeps on delivering.
With the heat of the day beginning to build, we started making our way back north towards camp. Even so, we still made a point of stopping for any interesting sightings along the way. One of those stops produced our first martial eagle of the trip. As Africa's largest eagle, it's always an impressive bird to encounter, and we were thrilled to finally add it to our trip list. Not long afterwards, we also came across a black-chested snake eagle perched near a large sociable weaver nest. It was another fantastic raptor sighting and a fitting way to round off an already memorable morning.
So we're back at Mata Mata camp now. We just decided it's so hot, rather come back to the camp. And we decided to carry our tent across from where we were camping and move it into the spot here with a little bit more shade. Yesterday during the day the tent was absolutely baking in the sun, and we'll be at the camp for the rest of the day. We're not going to go on an afternoon drive. Instead we've booked to go on a sunset drive with the camp. So that's in a Sandparks vehicle, and that's from 6:30 until just before 9 o'clock after the gates have closed. So unless you're with one of these booked drives, you can't be out in the park looking for animals.
This video was filmed in January, which meant that temperatures got up to around 40 degrees Celsius during the heat of the day. Arguably the most impressive reptile found in the Kalahari is the highly venomous Cape Cobra, and fortunately we were able to witness this beautiful specimen during an interaction with a pale chanting goshawk. The bird kept a close eye on the cobra, carefully assessing whether it presented a feeding opportunity, while the snake remained alert to the potential threat. It really was a special sighting. Seeing one of Africa's most iconic snakes and one of the Kalahari's most characteristic birds in the same frame was a special moment. We then stopped in the red Kalahari dunes to enjoy the sunset. Had we not been on the camp drive, we wouldn't have been able to access this area. The sand here is incredibly soft, and there's always the risk of vehicles getting stuck, which is why access is generally restricted. As the sun began to sink below the horizon, the red dunes were bathed in a beautiful golden light. We got to see plenty of spotted eagle owls during the drive, many of them youngsters that were still developing their adult plumage. The Kalahari provides an excellent habitat for owls and other birds of prey thanks to the abundance of food sources. It's also one of the reasons why the region is home to a variety of snakes, all forming part of this ecosystem. The rest of the drive produced plenty more wildlife sightings, including several species that are mostly active at night that we had not yet encountered during our trip. It was a great reminder that even after nearly 2 weeks in the park, there were still new animals to be seen.
It's always nice to do a game drive like that during the evening and experience some wildlife that you don't usually see during the daytime safari. But I think the highlight of that drive must have been the Cape Cobra sighting and its interaction with the pale chanting goshawk. But it's just gone 10:30 now and we're back at the campsite and it's quiet. And as we arrived, 2 female lions walked past and made their way to the waterhole. They're still around now, but it's been such a good day from those sightings this morning of the leopard and now this evening. Awesome stuff, guys. See you tomorrow for the morning drive.
These lions moved in complete silence. In fact, we were the only people in the campsite who noticed them coming down for a drink. Had we not been up later than usual after returning from the night drive, we would have probably missed the sighting altogether. It was a reminder of just how quietly these lions move, even when they are only a short distance away. There had been some rain during the night, and by morning there were pools of water scattered along the road around the camp. We hadn't been driving for more than 10 minutes when we came across this family of cheetahs walking straight up the road towards us. It was an incredible start to the morning, and we had some unforgettable views of these magnificent cats. The Kalahari turned out to be the best place I have ever visited for seeing cheetahs. While I fully appreciate that we were enjoying an exceptionally lucky run of sightings, the park consistently delivered remarkable encounters of these elegant predators. The mother cheetah eventually left the road and disappeared into the long grass on the western side, closely followed by her cubs. For a moment we thought the sighting might be coming to an end. Fortunately for us, that wasn't the case. Before long, the female made her way back to the river valley and the sighting continued. Rather than disappearing over the dunes, the family remained out in the open and traveled along the ancient riverbed for several kilometers, giving us incredible views the entire time.
So guys, at the moment we're just south of Kgalagadi and we were the first car out the gate this morning. We were standing there at the reception waiting for the permit in the rain. There's a nice sighting of 4 cheetah here, a mother and 3 cubs, and they're moving north along the riverbed. Very nice sighting, the best sighting of cheetah that we've had while staying at Mata Mata, probably the best sighting that we've had of the trip in terms of cheetah. And it's been overcast, the sun hasn't peeped through yet. It's just gone 6:30. So we've been with them for quite a while. But they've gone north for about 4 kilometers, hey Dad? Yeah, about 4 k's they've walked north. The Kalahari is a very special place.
Calm and completely relaxed, she crossed the open plain between the yellow wildflowers, her cubs following closely behind her, Watching this incredible predator move so effortlessly through the Kalahari landscape was truly unforgettable. After that cheetah sighting, the rest of the morning was fairly quiet. We continued heading south towards Kamkwa picnic site, enjoying the drive and stopping for many of the Kalahari's usual residents along the way. The sun remained hidden behind a blanket of cloud cover for most of the morning, making it the coolest day of our trip so far.
Another really good start to the morning today with those 4 cheetah, the mom and cubs, walking in the road towards us. And it's just gone 8 o'clock now, and we're at the Kamkwa picnic site for I think probably the 12th time this trip. And the sun hasn't come out from behind the clouds just yet, so it's still nice and cool. And we're going to head south towards where we saw the leopard over the last 2 days. Sure. The ants here are busy biting my feet. I think they're out after all the rain that fell last night. But I also forgot to mention that today is unfortunately our last full day in the park before we head home tomorrow morning. Very unfortunate, but I guess it's got to happen. We've had such a good time here. And I think we've caught a bit of big cat fever just going after the cat sightings. Sure, we've seen lots of birds too, but so many cats to be seen.
As the sun began to appear, we came across these Cape ground squirrels making the most of one of nature's clever adaptations. To help cope with the Kalahari heat, they use their large bushy tails as natural umbrellas, holding them over their bodies to provide shade from the intense sun.
So just like every day of the last 2 weeks, during the heat of the day we've come back to the campsite and we're sitting it out waiting for things to cool down. But during this time of day, even the birds go quiet and move off into the shade. Yesterday when I walked around the camp with my camera on the tripod, all I could find was a ground scraper thrush and a few crimson-breasted shrikes that just wouldn't sit still. But we're thinking about it now and talking about those 2 female lions that came and drank at the water last night, moving in absolute silence. Just the crowned lapwings that gave their location away. And the waterhole is only about 70-80 meters from this campsite, so we could make our way there and get a good view of them. But we're going to head out on a drive in the next hour or so, around about 5 o'clock, once things cool down a little bit. And we'll probably just head to the first waterhole, or maybe Craig Lockhart at the furthest. We're about 100 meters from the Mata Mata entrance gate, and there's a big male lion which seems to have caught himself a wildebeest. It must have been here earlier when we came back from our morning drive, but we somehow missed it. It is underneath some fallen over branches, so not the easiest of visuals, but if you can get your angles right, you can see him nicely. It's been a few days since we saw a nice big male lion like this. The last one we saw was on the dune. I think it was our first morning drive, but really incredible and so close to the camp. I'm sure once he's done feeding here, he'll make his way down to the camp waterhole to have a drink. That's if he can still walk after he's done feeding on this wildebeest. But it's just gone 5:30 now, and we're going to head on towards the Sitsus and Craig Lockhart waterholes. Who knows, maybe we even see more lion.
There were plenty of these yellow wildflowers scattered throughout the riverbed. Having emerged after the recent rains, their bright blooms added a welcome splash of colour to the Kalahari landscape. At one point in the drive, we came across a herd of around 70 springbuck spread out across the riverbed. Taking advantage of the fresh grazing following the recent rains, this was the largest herd of antelope which we saw during the trip. Other than the lions right outside the camp gates, the afternoon was quiet. This was actually the first flock of white-backed vultures that we had seen during the entire trip. Considering the numbers of predators we had encountered throughout the Kalahari, we had expected to see far more vultures.
We just got back now from the afternoon game drive and saw those lions on the way in. They're about 100 meters away from the gate, and the gate's about 100 meters away from me. And I just stopped here to look at all of these burrows, which are home to the southern ground squirrel, and there are so many burrows, and you can tell that the tunnel system underneath the ground here is extensive. There are so many holes in the ground, and a few of them are sticking their heads up now. I'm going to try and get them on camera, but they are quite shy when I get close, or when I get eye level they duck back down into their burrows.
The male lion was still lying right outside the camp gate, fast asleep beside what remained of his meal. The colors of the sunrise this morning were simply spectacular. With the sun breaking through the clouds, the sky was painted in a vibrant shade of orange, pink and gold, creating one of the most impressive sunrises I've seen. We came across this male lion making his way along the riverbed. As we got a little bit closer, we became fairly certain that he was one of the 3 males we had seen together near the 14th borehole during our first few drives around Mata Mata. He seemed completely relaxed as he walked through the valley, occasionally crossing the road and giving us some excellent views along the way. Around 10 kilometers further south, we spotted 5 cheetahs resting out in the middle of the river valley. We spent about 20 minutes with the group, but as time went on they became less and less active.
It was raining when we left the camp this morning. It was actually coming down while we were packing up the tent. Not ideal, but we left the camp At around 5:30, we were the first out the gates, and those lions were still there. Looked like they had been feeding on that wildebeest during the night. And we've headed south towards Tweerefieren. We stopped at Rooibroek, where we saw the leopard drinking a few days ago. And as we head south towards Montrose, between these two waterholes, we'll definitely keep an eye out.
We couldn't believe how much water there was around Tweerefieren. The landscape looked completely different from when we first arrived. One of the most surprising sights was watching these ostriches making the most of the water. We had never seen ostriches bathing like this before.
We're back at the Tweerefieren gate, where we started our Kalahari adventure 2 weeks ago. And it's always nice to see new things and experience new places, and of course share them with my dad. We always spoke about how we'd like to visit the Kgalagadi and how we've never been, and the time was truly unforgettable. Yeah, so thank you, Dad. And guys, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about it. Guys, thank you again for watching, and see you in the next one.